Have you ever felt a presence when no one was there? A sudden chill, a faint sound, a feeling that someone is watching you. You turn around, nothing. Moments like this have led people across cultures to believe in ghosts, unseen beings, presence beyond the physical world. But is there any science to this? Can human beings actually perceive something beyond the visible spectrum? Or are these experiences created entirely within the mind? Stay with me till the end, because the answer from yogic tradition may completely change how you understand perception, fear, and the nature of reality itself. Before we explore whether ghosts can be seen, we need to understand what people mean by the word. In common language, a ghost is thought of as the presence of someone who had died, an entity without a physical body, something that exists but cannot be touched. In yogic tradition, there is a slightly different perspective. It suggests that when a person dies, the physical body dissolves, but certain aspects of memory and energy may not immediately disperse. These are sometimes described as residual imprints rather than conscious beings wandering around. This distinction is important because it shifts the idea from horror to subtle processes of life and death. Human perception is extremely limited. Your eyes can only detect a small portion of the electromagnetic spectrum. Your ears hear only a narrow range of sound frequencies. There are entire layers of reality happening around you right now that you cannot see or hear. For example, infrared radiation is invisible to the human eye. Ultrasound is inaudible to human ears. Yet both exist. So the idea that reality contains more than what we perceive is not unusual. When the environment is dark and silent, the mind becomes more alert. It starts filling gaps in perception. A shadow becomes a figure. A sound becomes a presence. The brain is constantly trying to interpret incomplete information. And when fear is present, it tends to assume the worst. This is why the same place feels normal during the day, but unsettling at night, not because something changed outside, but because the mind changed inside. In Mystic Musings, Sadhguru explains that the human mind has the ability to create extremely vivid experiences. He points out that if you strongly imagine something, your body can react as if it is real. Fear increases heart rate. Imagination creates sensation. And over time, repeated thoughts can feel like external experiences. This is why many so-called paranormal encounters may actually be intensified internal perceptions. Not something coming from outside, but something projected from within. At the same time, yogic tradition does not completely dismiss. It suggests that life operates at multiple levels: physical, mental, energetic. When the body dies, certain subtle aspects may linger for a short time, but these are not typically conscious, thinking beings trying to communicate. They are more like imprints of past life processes. In rare situations, may perceive these imprints, but this requires a level of perception far beyond ordinary awareness. Modern science offers a parallel explanation. When sensory input is reduced, the brain becomes more sensitive. In darkness and silence, the brain amplifies even the smallest signals. Tiny sounds feel louder. Faint visual patterns become more noticeable. This heightened sensitivity can sometimes create illusory perceptions. You may see something that isn't clearly there, or hear something that has no clear source. So, what feels like a ghostly presence may simply be the brain working harder to interpret minimal information. In mystic musings, Sadhguru often spiritual growth is not about chasing unusual experiences. It is about becoming clear and stable within yourself. If the mind is calm and balanced, you see things as they are. If the mind is disturbed or fearful, you begin projecting things that are not there. This is why yogic practices focus first on stabilizing the mind, because without stability, perception cannot be trusted. So, is there a science to seeing ghosts? In a strict scientific sense, there is no reliable evidence that humans can consistently see ghosts. But there is a clear science behind why people feel like they do. Limited perception, heightened sensitivity, fear-based interpretation, and the mind's ability to create convincing internal experiences. Yogic tradition adds another layer. It suggests that subtle imprints may exist, but perceiving them requires extraordinary awareness, not fear, not imagination. And even then, such perception is not considered important for inner growth. So, the next time you feel a presence in the dark, pause for a moment, observe your breath, notice your thoughts, because what feels like something outside may actually be something arising within. And as awareness becomes clearer, fear begins to fade. If this perspective on perception and reality resonated with you, share this video with someone curious about the unseen side of life. And for more explorations into yogic tradition and consciousness, like this video and subscribe.